Welcome to our second webinar in this week's series. This is Accelerate Your Business Growth with Marketing Lite. Thank you all for joining us today, and a special thank you for those of you who have joined both of this week's sessions. I'm your host, Liam Brooks. I'm a Senior Digital Marketing Executive here at Cloud9 Insight. I'm joined by Joseph McCullough, our Account Executive, who many of you will have worked with in the past. And we're also joined by a special guest, Curt Bean, Managing Director here at Cloud9.
Morning, everyone.
I will now pass over to Joe for a quick introduction to who we are.
Thank you, Liam. So, morning, everyone. Who are Cloud9 Insight? Those of you that don't know us as of yet, we're just to give you some background. So, we're a specialist SMB partner. We've completed over 1,000 successful dynamic CRM implementations and sort of counting that moving forwards. Collectively, we've got a team employed of over 40 staff now in total, still growing. On top of that, we've got no offshore policy as a business, meaning that a benefit to you guys as customers and hopefully future customers is that you'll always be speaking to one of our team members, our UK team members here. As a result, I'll hand back to you, Liam.
Great, thanks, Joe. Just before we get started talking about Marketing Lite and the challenges that marketing teams face, especially in the SMB space, I've just added a poll to the chat, which should help us as we go through this presentation understand what your businesses use for your marketing, some of the challenges you might face, and we can address these as the presentation goes on in our demo and further on throughout the session. So yeah, the poll should be in the chat, so just fill it out at your own discretion. So while you do that, we'll move on to some of the marketing challenges that, in our experience, businesses that we've worked with over 1,000 Dynamics implementations have faced, especially in the marketing field. So I'll kick off with this one, Joe. What could a marketing setup with really limited ROI look like?
Well, let's tackle this one sort of head on. An ROI negative marketing setup would usually spread too thin, first and foremost. As marketers especially, it's not uncommon to face those typical frustrations of limited ROI from sort of broad, unspecific campaigns, if you like. I'm sure a lot of you in the audience have been there, where, for example, you may be pouring funds into marketing efforts that seem more like shots fired in the dark, rather than having more strategic moves. Another example would be sort of like when you're tirelessly crafting countless emails and social posts only to hear complete silence, no engagement, no replies. It's a marketer's worst nightmare. But on the flip side, what if we could sort of change that narrative? So now picture sort of shifting gears on a more positive note. So by using data profiling to really understand your audience and then crafting messages that truly sort of resonate, that's to build the sort of picture of where Marketing Lite would truly shine. So the days of casting those wide nets with generic messages are well and truly over, as everyone's well aware. And it's about sort of with Marketing Lite, it helps you focus on quality interactions and making every message count. So really enhancing that quality over quantity approach. And because, marketing shouldn't be a shot in the dark anyway, yet so often, in our experience, a lot of marketers are going to be faced with campaigns that scatter more misses than hits usually, whether that's email blasts that sort of garner no replies whatsoever, or even social media posts that echo in silence. And obviously the result of that is always going to be a familiar frustration, limited ROI. To bring that back to obviously Marketing Lite though, it's where it comes into play is that it was designed with having your needs in mind. So cutting through that clutter and zeroing in on delivering those measurable results. So giving you precision targeting campaign tracking, essential sort of analytics that tell you not just the if, but how well your campaigns are performing. And the results of that, campaigns that are delivering more money, more for your money, or bang for your buck, or, you know, however expression you want to put it. But consider Marketing Lite your new strategic partner that turns the tide from taking a chance to a more certain approach.
Thanks, Joe. And yeah, you touched on it quite nicely. That follows on to my next question. So you've got a campaign, it's gone out there, but how do you track the elements of it that have been the most successful? How does that process work, especially with Marketing Lite?
Yeah, I get what you mean. So knowing what's working and what's not is absolutely crucial, as we all know. Without the right data, you're steering blind. In effect, Marketing Lite sort of give you peace of mind. It not only tracks your sort of campaign metrics from like those clicks to conversions, but also gives you a simple yet powerful dashboard view of what that marketing health looks like in real time. So typically it's quite common to juggle different platforms. A lot of people do, whether it's emails, socials, web analytics, and what that does is it leads to a fragmented view, of your customer's journey. Whereas if in comparison with Marketing Lite's live dashboards, what you have is a clear view of each touch point, watch engagement numbers rise in real time, and you understand exactly who's opening what. It goes beyond opens and clicks. Subscription management becomes a breeze, keeping you compliant, customers are happy. So it isn't just another tool. Where we see it is it's actually a key to unlocking your marketing potential from what it is to what it can be. And you know, it offers, if I haven't already touched on it yet, everything from like tailored messaging to having those live dashboards that show you in real time what is truly resonating with your audience. And the best part is that it's all wrapped up in a beautiful interface that's as easy to use as it is powerful.
Great. And one of the buzzwords that we keep hearing at the moment in marketing is automation. And why should we be looking towards that, and what benefit would it have to our business?
Automation, yeah. Okay, so what I'd like to start with is imagine sort of a world where marketing, if you like, if it runs like clockwork. That's the power of automation that you'd have with Marketing Lite. What I mean by that is from nurturing leads with pinpoint accuracy to freeing your hands from those actual repetitive tasks, because it's all about efficiency that doesn't quit. So even while you're off the clock, having Marketing Lite and automation in place, it's there and it's working for you. So we've all in time over the course of however long felt the strain of manual labour. Every email, social post would then be meticulously crafted and sent out by hand. Very time consuming, as we can all agree, that it's error prone, it just happens naturally. By having automation in place is a game changer. So it lets you build a web of automated journeys, responding instantly with actions from follow-up emails to sales tasks, for example. To provide some further context and paint a picture of marketing, and that typically doesn't sleep, would be imagine your marketing working double time as you rest. So it engages whilst you strategize, it converts, and that's typically the promise of automation. And it takes away those mundane yet essential parts of the campaign, most importantly, freeing up and giving you back your time to focus on the core marketing strategies. So yeah, I'd say embrace it, because it's your marketing team's new best friend, you know, tirelessly working for you 24/7. It's not just a feature.
No, that's really good. And just to contextualize this and put it all into practice, I'm going to hand over now to Curt for a demo of Marketing Lite.
Thank you very much, Liam. Be delighted. So I'm just going to share my screen. All right, fantastic. So a lot of great things that Joe was talking about there in terms of some of the challenges and some of the trends that we see with our SMB customers looking to do more with their marketing. And Marketing Lite is a fantastic tool that a lot of our clients are starting to adopt, where they can bring their marketing automation and marketing activities inside their CRM system. So giving some fantastic benefits like collaboration of data and better profiling and so on and so forth. So thanks, Joe, for those trends. And now we just wanted to bring it to life and give you a bit of a sense of how it all looks and feels. So some of the key features which we'll go through in the short time we have today is, of course, how do we get our content out there? And firstly, most commonly in marketing, that starts with email marketing. So within the system, we have some really neat email template creators. So here's a bit of a Blue Peter moment in terms of one we created earlier. But as you can see, they can be really rich in terms of visuals. And we have some really easy to use drag and drop editors over here on the right hand side, where we can put in, new images, we can put in text information. We can have even things like buttons, social links, and even embed videos, as well as having a full different way of previewing, whether that's via a different browser or a different email engine, or even on a mobile or a tablet device. So if you have got the skills in-house where you want to use HTML, then you can absolutely do that as well. But the drag and drop we see tends to be the easiest and the most adopted way of building out these templates. So it's one thing creating your content, and then you want to know how successful it is. So you also get a ton of great statistics directly from the system. Again, you don't have to go elsewhere for this, and you can see then holistically, well, how did that campaign do? Whether it was how many sends, how many clicks, how many opens, but also being GDPR compliant in terms of our unsubscribes and that subscription management. So there's lots of great things in here, like those holistic views. We can also look at things like a heat map, for example, so we can see where people are clicking in the different areas. And there's a lot of great stuff we can see, not just holistically, but also the power of this Marketing Lite tool is that those interactions can be seen actually at the customer level as well. So we have the activity history here against that customer, which we'll go into in a little bit, where we can see how each individual is interacting with our marketing, which should then drive much better conversations for our salespeople to be having. So that's the basics, I guess, in terms of getting that content out there. What we can then do is we can utilize the system to try and market while we sleep. And we're seeing a real trend of this in terms of the marketing teams we're working with, where they want to automate those touch points and automate the content that they're sending out to their customers. So we have this really neat tool called Campaign Automation, which again is drag and drop, really easy to use, and it's broken into 3 different areas. So firstly, we have triggers, and triggers gives us the capability to set up something like a submitted form or an email interaction, or even a web page that's been visited by one of our prospects. And then it's all about, well, what do we want to do with it next? So that would be effectively taking an action. So the actions could be we send them an email, it could be that we update a field in their CRM record, or that we create a task for one of the salespeople to give them a call. So again, lots of different options from within here where we can make sure that that particular journey is tailored to that individual and the interactions that they're taking. So we've got an example one here of an event. So we can see that they're in a particular segment or a profile list for an event, and then we want to actually pitch to them until they register. So we've put in 7 different touch points within there, which includes an email and a phone call, and whether they're visiting a web page. And ultimately, we want them then to register for our event. If they do, we send them off in this pathway. We send them a thank you email with their joining instructions, and we notify someone within the team. That might be to do with dietary requirements or something similar. Or unfortunately, if it was a negative, so they've declined or they just simply haven't done anything with it, then maybe we send them a comms, such as, maybe next time, or we might want to send them a summary of the event in terms of what they missed. So some really great things in here. And we can also see the participants as well. So as the automation continues to build, we'll be able to see who's going on different journeys, both again, holistically and at the individual account level as well. So campaign automation is one of the really strong parts and most well used parts of the Marketing Lite tool. There is also some social marketing as well that is included within here. So here's your social dashboard. So again, the real power of this is everything is in one place. We don't have to be going off to Hootsuite or various different things to do then our social. We can do our social posting and publishing directly from within here. We can see all of the analytics. We can store our media. We can schedule our posts in terms of the calendar as well. And that can be across all your main social profiles. So again, it's that power of everything, having everything in one place. And if we go back from within here, we can also then do things from the clicks or the interactions that are being had as part of the social. So whether that's a like, whether that's a retweet, for example, or a LinkedIn click, we can then include that in our sales process as hopefully they're going to be a warm lead. Going a little bit further, if I can get my little Teams box out of the way, there we go. The Marketing Lite tool also has some fantastic ways of tracking how successful your web pages and how successful your landing pages are. So from within here, we can actually track, as you can see, who is visiting our page, what company that they might be from, or IP address that they might be from, whether they're a lead, whether they're a contact. So there's lots of capability here to enrich that salesperson's experience. What better way than if you're having that conversation to understand if they've actually clicked on the links you've sent them, if they've followed up by looking at your web page. Just means when you next go to have that conversation, you're hopefully in a better way to close the deal. So some really promising things about web interaction as well. And of course you get great things like web forms and also surveys. So here's an example of a web form on our website. If somebody comes in and completes this or submits the web form, then it means we can then create them as a lead in our CRM. We don't have to retype or duplicate any of the data. We can put that straight into our campaign automation or straight into our sales process, and we can follow up with them directly and hopefully bring them on board as a customer. And then finally, of course, as we've said, this all is rolling back to that one single record. So whether that's a company, such as an account like this that you see, ABC Limited, or it might be contacts, so the individual people who work for those businesses. And from here, we can see everything we need to know, such as who works there or the opportunities that we're working on. But of course, we can see the activity history as well. So this would give us that sense of how many times they're interacting, how many times they're doing things with our marketing. So again, it enriches that account manager relationship that they have to really get a sense of how engaged are they with the content that we're doing. And the final thing is, of course, that, well, marketeers, they love profile data. So the strength of having Marketing Lite and your CRM system all working in the same world is the fact that you can really go to town and have unlimited amounts of profile data. And they can be simple drop downs, they can be multi-option sets, they can be subscription preferences, they can be location, they can be literally anything that you would like to put in. And all of this is giving marketeers more and more data, more and more profiling. So ultimately they can give a much richer content sharing experience and make sure that they're receiving tailored marketing to ultimately aid conversion or aid upsell and resell. Thanks, Liam. It's back to you.
Thanks, Curt. So just to recap then, I'll just to walk through some of the key features that we discussed here, I'll pass back to Joe, actually.
Yeah, so thank you, Liam. I guess, in terms of like the journey itself, I think some of the most important sort of takeaways, from not just the demonstration over from Curt, but to take away from today would be the three that are up on the screen in front of you all. So yeah, as we touched on account contact management, as you've seen, having that, how important it is to enhance taking on automation into your day-to-day, and how effective that can be in terms of like freeing up your time, making life a lot easier in the long run for you, but also being able to track and have an effective system in place so that you can monitor the effectiveness of campaigns and all those like good things that you're sending out in order to grow as a business essentially. So yeah, that's good. And what I'd like to do is, I think we've done a lot of talking on our side, and I think it would be good to open up the floor to some questions from you guys. So is there any sort of burning questions or insights or thoughts that you guys can share with us? You know, it would be truly valuable, so do share your thoughts. I'm just gonna open up the floor to you guys now.
I've got a question for Liam. So Liam, you're obviously a key user of the Marketing Lite tool in our own business.
I am, yeah.
What do you see as the best feature?
Well, automation.
What helps you the best in your day?
Automation was a big deal for me. So coming from a marketing agency background, I was previously handling multiple clients' emails campaigns through tools like MailChimp, and having to manually schedule those and manually generate reports for all of those was a really time-consuming process. Coming into Cloud9 and being able to use Marketing Lite and making the most of campaign automation has been an absolute game changer. You can even do things like A/B test emails when you send them out and that process is fully automated. So you just drop in the fields you want to test, and those emails will be tested and automated at the same time. So I think Joe mentioned marketing while you sleep, and it literally is that.
Has any questions come through?
Let me check the Q&A. Oh, I've got one from Liam. Couldn't complete the survey, but does this manage events?
Yeah, great question, Liam. So absolutely, it does. We can manage events through Marketing Lite. They can be in-person events, of course, or if they are online events, then we can integrate with some of the online platforms, so things like Zoom, GoToWebinar. There's also a ton of other connections as well. So yeah, there's great weight in understanding if your CRM contacts or your prospects are attending your events, which of course enriches the understanding of who they are and how engaged they are with you. So yeah, great question.
Any other questions coming through? Getting creative juices flowing? No?
No, I think you've covered everything, and a whopping 4 minutes early.
Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, just to sort of like close some closing thoughts. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground, like you mentioned, traversed the realm of efficient marketing. Seen an amazing demonstration from Curt, how Marketing Lite stands as a beacon for those of you that don't yet have that, want to explore, maybe further down the line, if not now. Again, you know, we talked about lightening the load, revolutionising marketing strategy. It's not a case that the journey's ending here, it's just the beginning. So yeah, we just want to say on behalf of us at Cloud9 Insight to thank you for your time and joining us today. We can't wait to support your success and see where Marketing Lite takes you. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.